Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another. Yo, what? Work, throat, work. Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video, we're hopping into the Garp's challenges WhiteBeard, Eneru, and Navy with a mono Dex team led by the new Sanji pudding that has just released on Optc Global. So, with the release of Sanji and pudding, I did want to put together one team that can complete all three of these challenges without any changes. So, I have completed both the quick variation of this and the Dex variation. So, keep an eye out for this afternoon. I'll probably release the quick video later on the server, or vice versa. I haven't really decided yet. But I will leave a card at the top of the video for each of them for you guys to check out, as we are using one team for Dex and one team for Quick, which is really, really cool. So, Sanji Pudding are our leaders. Their special does 15,000 healing and completely removes threshold and damage reduction, which is really good. They give color affinity by 2.25 for 2 turns for cerebrals and fighters, and then become Sanji Pudding for 3 turns. The big upside to this unit, though, is their switch ability. Their switch ability completely removes paralysis, despair, and slot bind, gives themselves a matching orb through block, and heals back 25% of the damage received on that stage after switching, moving into the next stage. So, as long as you switch with these guys once, you will get all of the, 25% of the damage that you take moving into the next stage, which is really, really strong. Their captain ability is a 5 times captain to fighter and cerebrals. They give 1.35 times HP, 1.5 times recovery, reduce damage by 10%, and make strength, dex, and quick slots have matching slot effects for their respective classes. Easy S tier captain, easy S tier sub for me, in particular. I really, really enjoy this unit, and the fact that they do give color affinity, but they are 2 colors, is very, very good. They have hunger, they have pinch healing, they have recovery, bind reduction, they have a very good limit break, and they are a very, very good unit. As a support, we do have Mistims. Mistims is really, really good because he can actually give us damage reduction, especially on the Enel stage when we come up against the dude on the ball. He's going to rewind our specials, so Mistims actually helps out quite a lot here. I think he pops up again for the paralysis on the Eneru stage, I think, but... on the WhiteBeard stage, I think, but I can't really remember. Next, we've got Corazon. Corazon, in my opinion, is a super sub. He does a bunch of healing, removes bind, despair, paralysis, attack down. Attack down and paralysis is great for the WhiteBeard stage, while the bind and despair is really, really strong for the Eneru stage on the second last stage and on the Navy stage against Smoker, Tashigi, and Hina, which is really, really good. We can also use the support of Law for a 1.75 times orb boost, Rainbow, which is excellent. So we can not only get utility, healing, but we can also get an orb buff. Next, we've got V2, Vivi, and Rebecca. Their special removes bind and special bind, and with their switch ability, they can heal and remove special bind on themselves, which makes them amazing for the Enel fight. They're also going to double Striker and Cerebral's attack and slot effects for 1 turn, and then becomes Vivi and Rebecca. Really, really good unit. They have hunger as well, so with them and Sanji Pudding, we can completely remove the hunger that gets inflicted on the Navy stage. Next, we've got Hawkins. Shout out to my Hawkins lovers. I am coming around with Hawkins, not as a captain, but definitely as a sub. His special can do a bunch of tap timing bonus, and with Sanji and Pudding, he works really, really well, because Sanji and Pudding can heal back the damage, so you can just stall on stages, cop some hits, and then come back with a bunch of tap timing damage, which is really, really strong. He can also use page 1 as a support, removing 2 turns of attack down, which is basically essential. Well, I wouldn't say essential, but just really, really good for the WhiteBeard stage, as well as the Eneru stage as well. Finally, we've got Nami on this team. Nami's pretty much here just because she's using the support of Carrot. But she can remove Burn, which can be very, very handy on the Eneru stage. She's got paralysis removal. She can also do color affinity, and she doubles orbs. But the big reason she's here is for Carrot. Carrot can remove defense up for 2 turns, as long as you hit it perfect. So she's really, really strong against Jozu on the WhiteBeard stage, and again on the Enel stage at the end, as we don't really have a way of getting around the defense up. But that's enough about the team, guys. Let's hop into the runs. For the first Garp's challenge, we are taking on WhiteBeard. Now, against WhiteBeard, the big thing to get around is actually attack down, and that's why using Corazon is really, really strong, as well as using the support of page 1 to actually get around the attack down that gets inflicted on this second stage against the Watermelon Head guy. So against the Watermelon Head guy, he's going to give us 3 turns of attack down, and then he is going to basically do nothing else. On the second turn, he's going to rewind our specials by 5 turns, And it's not that big of a deal because moving into the second stage, we are going to get special blinded. But with the switch abilities of Sanji and Pudding, make sure you do switch with Sanji and Pudding, as when you switch with Sanji Pudding, you can start stockpiling some of that damage that gets inflicted, and we can not only get it for our Hawken special, but we can also get it back as healing, which is really, really nice. As you guys saw there, because we get our specials reversed, we actually have the Mistim support. Mistim is going to come in and give us damage reduction, which just means that we can just use normal attacks to take this particular stage out. We don't have to worry about using specials. Mistim giving us that, like, I think it's something like 90 or 70% damage reduction is really, really strong. Normally, I don't really use Mistims too much because my playstyle is not very similar to this sort of playstyle of stalling, healing, taking your time on stages and conserving specials or using specials multiple times. I prefer doing things like fairly quickly and making my way through at a more optimal rate, I guess. But you cannot discredit how good for healing is when it is guaranteed. Moving on to the next stage now. We come up against Atmos, Hayuma, and the Chain Ball guy. Can never remember that guy's name. I know people have told me, but I honestly just can never remember it. They are going to special bind us for, I think it's 3 turns, something like that, which will go down to 2 because of Corazon, which is super nice. But ideally, we just want to try and take out Higuma in the front, and then try and do as much damage to Atmos in the back. Now, because we do have color affinity against Atmos, it is very easy to take him out, as we do have a quick unit in a lot of actual units here, being our Sanji, if we switch into Sanji, as well as Vivi, if we switch into Vivi. Unfortunately for me, I accidentally did goofed here, and I didn't actually take this guy out on the second turn. You don't have to stall here. You can easily just take him out on the previous turn, hit your perfects, and then make your way through. But if you don't, as you can see, he does blow away 2 of your units. But all in all, it is actually going to give us a little bit more healing moving into the next stage because of Sanji putting switch ability, as well as giving us more tap timing bonus with our Hawken special as well. So if you guys do it the way I did it, it's not the end of the world, but you can definitely just take him out on that turn and not worry about stalling there. On to the next stage, we come up against Speed Giru, Isu, and I think his name is Fossa. I think it's Fossa. So Fossa can be on like a 4-turn cooldown, a 3 or a 2-turn, but we're basically going to take him out on the first turn no matter what. Because we do have color affinity against Speed Giru, we can easily take him out with our Dex units, and then actually switch to Fossa and hit him with our quick unit. Make sure that you are switching with Sanji Pudding so you can start stockpiling any damage so you can get that extra healing back, as well as letting all of the extra damage go into Hawken's special. We are going to take a shot from Iso here, basically just to stockpile more damage into Hawkins, because we're going to heal it back anyway. Well, not all of it back, but we're going to heal back most of it anyway, because we can switch with Vivi and Rebecca every single turn to get more healing as well. And plus we have this special of Corazon in our back sleeve, so we are going to get a max heal for that as well. But as you can see with this particular team, we have the Liberal Hind as well. That was another thing I forgot to mention in the intro. We're just getting a lot of healing every single turn. With auto heal, it's something like 3,500, I'm pretty sure. And that's not including the extra healing that we can get from moving into the previous stage. And that's not including our pinch healing as well. On to the next stage, we come up against Jozu. Now, Jozu has 3 turns of damage reduction and 3 turns of defense up. So what we're actually going to do on this particular stage is we're actually going to tank a shot from Jozu. We're going to hit a perfect with our Nami. Nami's actually going to reduce the defense up by 2 turns, and then it's actually going to go away on the 3rd turn. Make sure that you do switch with your your Sanji and your Pudding unit. That way you can actually stockpile and get that healing back from the damage that Jozu does do to us. On the 2nd turn, we can switch with our Sanji Pudding, so we do have a bit more color affinity in terms of our Dex units, and then we're actually going to use one of our Sanji and Pudding specials. Sanji and Pudding are going to remove the damage reduction. They're going to give us a little bit of healing, about 15k, or exactly 15k if I should say myself. And then because we have so much color affinity for this particular fight, we can easily take out Jozu. No issues whatsoever. Moving on to the next stage now, we come up against Marco and Vista. Marco and Vista are going to give us 3 turns of paralysis. They're going to give us 3 turns of chain lock and 3 turns of attack down. But lucky for us, we bought our old mate named Corazon. Now, Corazon can actually remove all of that, but because of the sailor abilities of Corazon as well as Nami, we actually removed 2 turns of the paralysis. We are actually going to pass a turn here because we have max HP, so we're going to take a lot of damage from Marco and Vista. Just make sure you do switch with Sanji and Pudding first, so that way you can get some healing back as well. On the 2nd turn, we are going to use our Corazon special. Corazon can remove the attack down, as well as removing the chain lock. And because we have the support of Law, we get a 1.75 times orb boost. Now, we did get normal attacks only on when we leave the Jozu stage, so we do want to try and stall that out moving into the final stage against Ace and WhiteBeard. Otherwise, our Hawken special really doesn't do too much. On the third turn, we are going to take out Vista, basically just with our switch abilities of Vivi Rebecca to get the chain multiplier buff. And with our normal attacks, we can easily take out Vista. It's funny, this whole run, we don't actually use Nami special at all. So if you want to pop Nami special at any time throughout the run to make things easier for you, you definitely can. On the final stage, we come up against Ace and WhiteBeard. Now, they are going to slot bind our top and bottom row, and they're going to wipe away our buffs. But with the switch abilities of Sanji and Pudding, we can remove the slot bind on our top row. With Limit Break, we can remove it on Nami and Vivi and Rebecca. And then basically, we can just pop all our specials here and win. We're going to use Hawken's special to get more orbs and a tap timing bonus. We have Vivi Rebecca to give us an attack and an orb boost, as well as the chain multiplier buff. And then we have color affinity with Sanji and Pudding. Because we have WhiteBeard here as well, we can actually utilize our Dex units to their full advantage and absolutely decimate WhiteBeard. And as long as we only have one unit that is in the quick variant, which is our Vivi Rebecca, we can easily take out Ace too. So that was the Mono Dex WhiteBeard run. Let's move on to Enel now. Alright, so moving on to Enel or Eneru, however you want to say it. The big gimmick about Enel is the stun and the special bind at the end. But lucky for us, we are using Vivi Rebecca. Their ability to just switch, remove special bind on themselves, and then remove special bind on everyone else is absolutely god tier. With this particular team, though, we don't have a way of getting around the stun, so we do actually need to tank a shot from Enel himself. But with the amount of HP that this team actually has, and with the amount of damage output, we can easily get it done. I actually stuffed this run up, and I actually go into the final stage as Sanji. Something you need to remember when you're moving in from the second last stage into the final stage is whatever color captain you have, Enel will turn into the opposite color, making it easier for you. But because we are running dual units, you do need to be very careful what color you actually use to move into the final stage. And for me, I totally did goofed and actually went in as the quick variant of Sanji and Pudding, or I went in as Sanji, which means that Enel actually turned into a strength unit. Funny enough, I still managed to get it done, as this team just has absurd amounts of damage. Funny enough, actually, I did the same thing against Navy, but you guys will see that once we get there. Your boy's a spoon, alright? We all know that. But it was pretty nice to see that this team has so much damage and can get it done. On to stage 3, we come up against Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I do not know their names. I think it's like Otoro and Totoro or something like that. But either way, they're the dumbest units. I just dislike them so much. They're actually going to, they're going to give us 2 turns of burn, and they're going to have a 2-turn Great Barrier. Now, what you can actually do here is you can use your Nami special, and if you don't have Nami, say Nami gets special binded from the previous stage, you can actually just stall on that stage until the special bind goes away, and then you can get your Nami special just to remove the burn. All in all, though, you don't really need the Nami special. Like, it doesn't matter too much. You could just stall a bit, use the Hawken special. You could even use the Vivi Rebecca special if you really want to. It's not that detrimental if you don't have the Nami special ready. It's just the best way to go about this, as you can actually remove the burn, as well as get a nice chunky little orb boost, and do quite a lot of damage to good old Tweedledee and Tweedledum here. Make sure you are breaking the Great Barrier, otherwise you will not be doing damage, obviously. And if you do get any recovery orbs, make sure to actually eat them up with the Greats as well. That way you can just get a lot of healing back, which is really, really nice. On to the next stage, we come up against Wiper and 2 of his Skypier friends, as I like to call them. The chef-looking dude and, I don't know what that guy, the guy with the goggles. With this particular stage, we do have like quite a lot of color affinity. So we are just going to utilize the switch abilities of our units. And we're just going to try and take out both the units in the back. Sometimes the chef can be on a 2-turn cooldown, which helps you guys out a little bit. But it doesn't matter too much because his team has absurd amounts of damage with the switch ability of Vivi Rebecca, as well as utilizing the color affinity of both the Dex and the quick units. We are actually going to take a turn on Wiper here, so make sure you do switch with Sanji Pudding at some stage. So that way the damage that is inflicted from Wiper actually goes into the healing pool. Very, very important that you are doing that at least once before you start taking damage. Wiper's on a 2-turn cooldown as well, which is really, really handy. as we can easily just take him out over the next 2 turns. Before we take out Wiper, though, we are going to use one of the Sanji and Pudding specials. Sanji and Pudding are going to give us a 2.25 times color affinity boost, so make sure you do have a quick unit available to you. But the big reason we are using that special now is because we're not going to need their specials until the very, very end, and we really want the 5 times captain multiplier for this particular stage, mainly to take out the dude on the ball over 2 turns. They're going to re-roll your specials back by 3 turns, which will go down to 2 with preemptives. The dude on the ball puts up 4 turns of threshold, which is a little bit annoying, and will ship bind you for 2 turns, or 3. I think it's something like 3 turns, but goes down to 2 after preemptives. So the idea here is we do need to try and take out the dude on the ball. He locks onto him, which means that we have to attack him, unfortunately. But over 2 turns, we should be able to easily take him out. As you can see, with the 5 times captain that Sanji Pudding can provide, we can do quite a lot of damage. With the Mistum support, though, you don't actually need to use the Sanji Pudding special on the previous turn. You could easily use it on this particular turn. You're not going to get anything from the color affinity bonus, but at least you'll have 3 turns as a 5 times captain, making it a bit easier to take out this stage once you do get the attack down. Because we do have the support of page 1, we can remove 2 turns of the attack down, and makes it a bit easier at taking out this dude, this little wingnut guy. I cannot remember his name. I want to say Pierre, but I know his name's not Pierre. I know that's the bird's name, right? But if you do have the 5 times captain for 3 turns, it's just going to make taking this guy out a lot easier. But as you can see, the attack down is really not overly high, and we can easily just take him out over the next 2 turns. Any damage that we are taking, make sure that you do switch with Sanji Pudding as well to get the healing back. And any damage that we are taking is going to go into our Hawkins special. Now, on this next particular stage against Gidatsu and Om, this is where you actually want to use your Hawkins special. Now, I totally did goofed, and I actually didn't use my Hawkins special at all. I totally forgot that you actually get red Haki'd on the final stage, and you lose out on using Hawkins. But nevertheless, it doesn't matter too much. We do get 4 turns of bind on our bottom row, so we do want to use Corazone's special here to remove that. We're going to get the Ore buff from Corazone as well, or Law, as the support on Corazone. And then ideally, you do want to use the Hawkins special here. With the Hawkins special, you should easily be able to take this stage out in 1 turn, and that way you can just make through it a little bit easier. As I mentioned, though, you do want to try and make sure that you are Pudding moving into the final stage. You really want to be the Dex variant of Sanji and Pudding, or like more essentially Pudding, so then that way Enel will actually turn into a quick unit. But as you guys will see with my particular run, it actually doesn't matter, as this team just has so much goddamn damage. Now, I do take my time here on Gidatsu. I do actually take an extra shot. You guys don't need to take this. If you guys use your oh, actually, I don't take a shot. I take it back. If you use your Hawkins special, you could easily take him out on the first turn, but whether or not you do or don't do that, it's not that big of a deal. As you guys can see, though, I am in the Sanji variant, so Enel's actually going to turn into a strength unit, and I just thought, stuff it, I'll keep trying anyway. We are going to get stunned on our captains, and he gives us 3 turns of Special Bind, as well as 3 turns of Sailor Despair. With the switchability of Vivi and Rebecca, we can actually remove the Special Bind on themselves, and with their special, we can remove the rest of it, but we need to remove the stun somehow. What we're going to be doing here is we are going to be stalling that out, and we're going to be hitting perfects with Nami to remove 2 turns of the defense up that gets inflicted on the 2nd turn. On the 3rd turn, we are going to get, our captains are going to get gloomed for 1 turn, but with the switch abilities of Sanji and Pudding, we can actually remove that. With the special of Vivi and Rebecca, we can actually get a 2 times attack and ore boost to our Cerebral and our Striker units, which this whole team actually is. We can remove the Despair with Sanji and Pudding. We have a 2.25 times color affinity buff with Sanji and Pudding special. We have 2 5 times captains, and we have tap timing with Hawkins. Now, the tap timing with Hawkins isn't that high, but it's still something. He's also going to give us some more matching orbs. Unfortunately for me, though, I didn't have Vivi Rebecca underneath Hawkins, but like you guys are going to see, it's not going to matter. Make sure you do start your chain with Nami. Hit another perfect with Nami to remove the rest of the damage defense up. And with that, literally just with our 1 Sanji Pudding, we can easily destroy Eneru. 21 mil. Absolutely insane. So, nevertheless, it really doesn't matter what color you are. As you guys can see, we can do a lot of damage. Moving on to the final Garbs challenge now. It's weird to say this is the final one because they should be 5. We are coming up against the Navy or the Marines, utilizing the exact same team. And funny enough, as mentioned in the Eneru run, you do want to make sure that you are putting in the final stage, because Akainu will actually turn into the opposite color, very similar to Enel. But, like I said, your boy's a spoon, he did goofed, and just like the Enel run, he stuffed it up. But, nevertheless, we still got it done. So on stage 3, we come up against Kobe and Helmeppo. They are going to give us 2 turns of hunger, which we remove without limit break, and they turn all recovery orbs into block orbs. They have 2 turns of threshold, so lucky for us, our captains can remove that. So we are going to use the special of one of our Sanji and Puddings. And then with the 2.25 times color affinity boost, we're easily just going to destroy Kobe and do as much damage to Helmeppo as we possibly can. Make sure you are switching with Vivi and Rebecca every single turn, as they can give you a lot of extra damage. And as you can see, we actually took that stage out in 1 swift turn. On to the next turn, we come up against Smoker, Tashigi, and Hina. They are going to give us 5 turns of Despair and 6 turns of Bind, which will go down to 2 and 3 to your sockets respectively. Make sure you have Corazon in the middle here, because what we're actually going to do is we're going to use our Corazon special. Corazon's going to remove all of the Bind and Despair. He's going to give us a full heal, and with Law, we get an Ore buff as well, which is really, really nice. We can then switch with our dual units. That way we can get the end of turn healing through Sanji and Pudding, and we can get the Chain Multiplier buff with Vivi and Rebecca. With that extra damage, the Ore buff, and with the extra healing, we can easily take out this particular stage, as we really want to actually kill Tashigi in the back. Otherwise, we're going to get attack down, which we can still remove with our page 1 support. But as you guys can see there, we don't only have enough damage to take out Tashigi, but we also take out Smoker. Something to note on this particular stage too is we actually get T&D orbs unfavorable for the rest of the run. So that kind of cucks a lot of units that rely on T&D orbs. But for this particular team, it really doesn't matter all that much. On the second turn, with our normal attacks, we can take out Hina and move on to the 5th stage against Kizaru. Against Kizaru, this is where things start to get a little bit tricky. Against Kizaru, we really want to take him out as quickly as possible, as we do not want him to give us the remove special effects debuff. On turn 2, he will basically remove your tap, like the remove special effects. But on turn 1, he puts up a perfect barrier for 2 perfects and makes perfects harder to hit. Now, if you want to, you can actually use the Zunisha ship. It will allow you a little bit less damage and not a lot of extra healing, but it will make this particular stage a lot easier. With your switch abilities, try and make sure that you are all of the quick variants, but make sure that you do switch with Vivi and Rebecca no matter what to get the chain multiplier buff, and then use their special to get the 2 times attack and the 2 times orb boost. With that, as long as you do hit your perfects, you should be able to take out Kizaru in 1 swift turn, and move on to the next stage against Fujitora and his 3 Chicky Babes. Now, on this particular stage can be very, very annoying. Mainly because he gives us the 4 only tap debuff, which is very, very frustrating to get around, and it's probably one of my most hated mechanics. So on this particular stage, we are going to use our Hawkins special, as well as utilizing our Sanji Pudding special, just so we have a 5 times captain. Very, very important that we do that, just so we have enough damage. And throughout the run, if you want to make this easier on yourself, you can actually take more damage throughout the run, so then that way, Hawkins' tap timing will do a lot more damage. Preferably probably on the smoker stage is the best place to actually take damage if you really want to get that a bit higher. But as you guys will see here, it really doesn't matter too much. With the tap timing, we can pretty much do enough damage to get Fuji very, very low. If you don't kill Fuji on the first turn, he puts up end of turn damage. And if you let him take a knee like I did, he actually blows away 2 of your units for 4 turns. We still have the tap timing bonus though, so it doesn't matter if our captains get blown away. Because as you can see there, the tap timing bonus basically just does the work for us. Ideally here, you don't want Vivi and Rebecca to be blown away though. If Vivi and Rebecca get blown away, they won't get special cooldowns, which will basically ruin the run for you. Ideally as well, well actually it doesn't really matter who else doesn't get blown away now that I'm thinking about it. As long as Vivi or Rebecca doesn't get blown away, that's the big thing. Now on this particular stage, what we're going to do here is we're actually just going to stall out until this Chicky Babe gets down to 89 turns. Once she hits the 89 turn counter, she's actually going to run away. But that just gives us like 10 turns of stalling. And the main reason we actually want to do that is we really want to get our Vivi and Rebecca's special back before the end of the run. Now, unfortunately, even at max special, if you have the Vivi Rebecca limit break keyed, you will be fine. But like myself, who hasn't done that, you will just be 1 turn short, which is a little bit annoying. But it doesn't matter too much, as we can actually take a turn on Akainu, but unfortunately that means he's going to put up a barrier. Now, when you move into the final stage, like I mentioned on the Eneru fight, make sure that you are putting not Sanji. That way you'll do more damage. But because we still have 3 units from both Quick and Dex, it doesn't matter too much. On the 90th turn, when it hits the 90 counter, use your Corazon special just to give yourself a full heal, as once you move into the Akainu stage, you can actually only use 2 specials, which is a little bit frustrating, but it's not that big of a deal. On the final stage against Akainu, he becomes a super type, and he only lets us use 2 specials. Unfortunately for us though, we don't really have many specials available to us. If you really want to here though, because my friend Sanji Pudding was on a 2-turn cooldown, you could easily use the Sanji Pudding special early, but the way I do it is we actually save it for the next turn. So that way you could just do a little bit extra damage on this particular turn, as you do get 2 turns of color affinity buff. But it depends on what your friend captain's looking like. You really want to make sure that you have one of the Sanji Pudding specials available for the finals, or the revive. After we pass the first turn, Akainu's going to put up a 3 perfect hit barrier. He also gives us burn for around 8,000, so just be mindful of that as well. What we're going to do on this stage here is we're going to use our Sanji Pudding special. They're going to give us a color affinity buff. Make sure that you have 3 quick units in your Sanji Puddings and Vivi Rebecca. And then we can use our Vivi Rebecca special to give us an attack and an orb boost. We're going to break the barrier with our Dex units and then do all of the damage with our quick units. And as you can see, we can just absolutely obliterate Akainu. On the revive, he wipes our buffs and he puts up 2 turns of thresholds. This is where we're just going to pop our friend Sanji and Pudding special. And it's basically hunky-dory from there on out. So there you guys go. That was my 1 Dex team completes all the Garps challenges. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt that like button for me. And if you are new to my channel, make sure to hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, guys, I thank you for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Lights!